we live with? What about the people we work with? We've got problems with those. So those are the people with whom we need to do this meditation. So we understand our happiness and their happiness is equally important. We just get it. Oh yeah, that's true. This is the first reason. Second reason is this. You can't argue out of these reasons, by the way. They're irrefutable logic. Just as I wish to be free from suffering and experience only happiness, so do all other living beings. Try to get out of that one. Just as I wish to be free from suffering and experience only happiness, so do all other living beings. Is that true? Of course it's true. Whoever you see, animals, that person wants to be happy and free from suffering. They have exactly the same intention that you do. From that basic point of view, they have many other intentions as well, but this is their baseline intention, basic intention. I want to be happy, free from problems. I do, so do you. In this respect, we are no different from any other living being. We're all equal. You understand? It's beautiful, isn't it? A beautiful way of thinking. Instead of comparing ourselves, how we look, our education, and all these other superficial things that we do, when we meet other people, we should be thinking, that person is just like me, because they want to be free from problems and suffering, they want to be happy, just like me, exactly the same. We're equal. On that basis, we're equal. Maybe they're more famous than we are, they're more powerful than we are, they're richer than we are. This doesn't matter. They have the basic intention that we do. This is what's important for this meditation, to develop cherishing love, okay? The second reason. So they get more difficult to escape from these reasons. The second reason I love. The third reason, my favourite, we think, I'm only one. I'm only one person. Other living beings are countless. So how can I be concerned for myself alone while I neglect others? So we're asking ourselves this question. I'm only one, I'm just one. Other living beings are countless. Wherever you look, there's always more people than you, just one person. So how can I work? How can I be concerned for myself alone and neglect others? How can I do that? My happiness and suffering are insignificant when compared with the happiness and suffering of countless other living beings. When we contemplate those reasons, they're completely irrefutable. There's no way our logical mind can escape from the truth of this. Our emotional mind, that cherishes ourselves and ignores everyone else, of course, denies all this. No, that's not true. They're all horrible, they're all disgusting. Okay, but that's not the meditation, that's wrong thinking, it's coming from delusion, and we don't follow it. Why do we want to follow the source of misery and suffering? Why? Well, because it makes sense, it's logical. It's not logical. What is logical is what I've just said, I'll just repeat it. I'm only one, whereas others are countless. So how can I be concerned for myself alone and neglect others? It's like making ourselves feel ashamed, isn't it? Like, if you're in a family, people used to have big families, didn't they? Like 12 kids or something. Sometimes our parents would say to us, like, look, you've got brothers and sisters here, don't be greedy. Don't just look after yourself. Look after them too. It's the same mind, isn't it? You're just one. Here there are many of us. We're all equally important. It's appealing to our reason. Of course it's true. It's correct. It's wisdom, When we contemplate like this, of course it goes against every worldly concern and every worldly idea, every worldly behaviour. It completely contradicts it, but we need this. We really need this. Because it's the truth, and it will so benefit us. So, this final conclusion, my happiness and suffering are insignificant. This is like the seed of a bodhisattva, a person who wants to become a Buddha. It's coming later. My happiness and suffering are insignificant. So, of course our happiness and suffering are important. When we're suffering, it's horrible. We don't like it, we can't bear it, and so forth. But if you're honest and you compare your individual suffering of one person to the suffering of all living beings, it just disappears, doesn't it? There's a mammoth quantity of suffering. We just talk about suffering as an entity. When you're suffering, one person is suffering. You have one person's suffering. Countless other living beings are suffering. You have countless suffering. Huge, massive suffering. Unbelievable amount of suffering. So of course, our own suffering is important, but it's not as important as the suffering of others. Our own happiness is important. Yeah, I want to be happy. But our happiness is not as important as the happiness of all living beings. It's logical. Yeah? We don't like it. Our emotional heart doesn't want it. No. Because we can see where this is going. It's driving us to work for the benefit of others later on. But we need this mind of understanding the truth. So when we've contemplated these reasons, we strongly believe that the happiness and the freedom of ourself and all these other living beings are equally important. So our conclusion is, my happiness and freedom from suffering and the happiness and freedom from suffering of these others are equally important.